Buenos dias, and welcome to the Mirador here, Don Roger. And if this is your first time with a live here, I just want to on a quick tip. If you have any trouble with your audio, if you log out of YouTube and log back in, sometimes that solves it. But yeah, we are here at the Mirador, the viewpoint at Don Roger Restaurant right outside of Uvita, and this is the place to see the whale tail. And low tide today is at 4:12 a.m. and 4:28 a.m. So we're somewhere in the middle, but you can see the whale tail pretty good. We'll flip it out to the whale tail after I go through over a few things. It's been a busy week. I I feel like I'm a kid who's been at school and can't wait to get back home and tell everybody what kind of day he's had. That's the kind of week I've had. Um, I want to give a quick shout out to Kitch's Barbershop. I just did a video of them last week, and they shared the heck out of the last video I did, and it got some really great views. So yeah, I'm going to start out with this live telling the importance of wearing sunscreen, and I always put sunscreen on, and I always tell everybody put sunscreen on, but you really have to be conscientious about it. You have to reapply, and when you reapply, you can't reapply on wet skin. You have to be serious about it. You can't just like, oh, I'm just going to throw some sunscreen on and I'll be good. I'm saying that because one of my activities, I'm going to get at part of my busy week here. One of the activities I did at Monday, I went sea kayaking with my friend Victor, he's got a guide business, and he takes people out on kayaks right off of Pinuelos is where we went, and we paddled down to Ventanas and entered Ventanas Beach that way. But the good thing about that, the amazing thing about that for me was we had an encounter with a big pot of dolphins, and they followed us all the way from Pinuelos to uh, Playa Arco. So that video is almost done. So if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to make sure you see that. So that was Monday, and I got really sunburned, and I've got a new haircut. I'm wearing my hair a little bit, quite a bit shorter than when I first got here. That's why I'm wearing a hat to protect my head, because I've never gotten a sunburn on my stop it. I've never gotten a sunburn on my scalp before. Um, and it's not a pleasant experience. So wear the sunscreen, wear a hat, be really conscientious about your sunscreen. So that was Monday. Tuesday, I went horseback riding down on Playa Hermosa at sunset, low tide. It was beautiful. It was really beautiful, and I'll talk about that later maybe. But yeah, it was a really great time. But yeah, I'm exhausted, but my soul is extremely energized. My physical body is exhausted, but I'm having a great week, so that's a good thing, right? Okay. So yeah, one of the reasons I'm doing a lot of these more touristy things that I've been putting off is I'm starting being more official about the business I'm doing, where I help people see Costa Rica. I'm calling it an immersion because that's really what it is. And I've got the details to a lot of the stuff that I'm up to in the details. So if you below this video, do you click more? And I also have a detailed video of this restaurant where I am, so you can get a feel of exactly where I do these lives oftentimes is from. And I've been meaning to go to another place for morning live Aracari, and I'll be doing that within the next week or two. Everything's been going on, and I haven't really had a chance to scope it out as much as I should. I actually met somebody that used to work there, and I got some information from her about how great it is there. And it is great there. So I think I've yapped long enough. I'm ordering the huevo rancheros today, and waiting for my coffee to get here, which is almost here. So I'm going to flip you out to the view. And if this is your first time here watching, a lot of times you're going to hear uh, from the road, you'll hear a little bit of jake breaking, because right down below, there's a steep hill and there's a turn in it, a dangerous turn. So you'll hear the Drake break, but it's just part of the sounds of Costa Rica. You'll hear weed whackers. You'll hear a dog bark here or there. You'll hear some monkeys. You hear macaws, and at 8 o'clock you hear the cicadas. They're starting to actually chime up now. Usually the cicadas don't start till about 8, but they're on their own schedule. But usually they are fairly predictable. But I think I hear them starting up. All right, without further ado, I'm going to put you out to the view. I lost my feed on my. So there's the view today. I wasn't sure if I lost the feed. Sometimes the internet in Costa Rica is not always the best. So chime in if you can hear. Let me know what the temperature is there, where you are. We've got our breakfast club here. We usually have some lively conversations about stuff to do with Costa Rica, but the important thing is the view. That's what people come for, is the view. Muchas gracias. Excellent. Perfecto, gracias. So we are still live, right? Yeah. I want to have coffee with my friends. So, buenos dias. The coffee is here. The day can officially begin. Don't tell my friend Tiene that I'm drinking coffee that's not Cafe Don Emilio. Cafe Don Emilio, the official coffee of Costa Rica Story. Muchas gracias. Perfecto.
Buen provecho.
Hey, we've got huevo rancheros here. I can't really tip it because it will run. So we've got the huevo rancheros here at Restaurante Don Roger. So I'm at a smaller table, so it's a little bit trickier. I'm going to have to flip you back. I'm going to flip you back out to the view. Try not to lose my laptop at the same time. Oh, this baby's hot. Oh, that's not a view. The puppies are fighting or playing. The puppies are being puppies. I haven't heard Don Roger going yet. The official mascot of Costa Rica Story Live. apparently anything can happen in a live. So I wasn't sure if I'd lost transmission there for a minute, but it looks like it's going on there. Yeah, the sun is intense. The sun's been intense for a few days here. I miss the rainy season. I don't miss the flooding, but I definitely miss that pleasant cloud cover that keep that brutal sun away. So if you don't wear your sunscreen, or if you're not conscientious about applying your sunscreen, and you're here on vacation, you can go out one day and then you get so sunburned, you get so out, the rest of the whole time you're here. Buenos dias, Michael. ¿Cómo estás? Boy, I forgot how spicy they make this here. What's your temperature there now? Wow, God, this is really spicy. Picante. So a couple of weeks ago, Michael and Megan were here. We had breakfast here, and we had drinks at Aracari later in that day. Or was it the next day? I can't remember. I should remember. No, it was the same day. Boy, this is spicy. A lot of times when they see a gringo, if they're making a dish, they'll go easy on the spice. But yeah, this has got some really good bite to it. And that's the Jake Breaks on Route 34, Route 34. So a lot of things going on. In Uvita, the Maxi Pally opened up this week. They opened up Saturday. Personally, I'm not overly impressed with Maxi Pally. Maxi Pally is owned by Walmart. They have a lot of stuff there, but it just seemed to me like I was paying about the same price to stand in line longer to buy the same stuff I would buy at the local BM market. And the BM market is Costa Rican owned. It's owned by Costa Rican business. And Walmart Maxi Pally is owned by Walmart, and Walmart is Walmart. It's a huge corporation. So yesterday, my good friend Lisa came to visit from Puerto Jimenez, and spent half a day with her and chatted about what's going on. She's got a big project going on down there. She's building a few casitas down there. She's going to be renting those out. And she's promoting a friend's tourism business. He's a guide. He's trying to get his license to be a guide in Corcovado. It would be pretty awesome. Wow, that is spicy. So the last line I did here, I did a time lapse, and I didn't realize till afterwards that it was catching the moon setting. I mean, the moon wasn't huge; it was kind of a bit of a small speck in the sky, but you could see it setting. It was pretty cool. So in the description down below, I put a link to that, and that was a YouTube short. That's the vertical format, under 1 minute videos that YouTube is trying to get us to produce. But the roads are getting dusty here. The rivers are getting really low. It's the typical dry season status. And it's been a while since it rained. And when it doesn't rain here, it makes me uncomfortable. It just gives you a feeling that, we need rain. It gives you that feeling. And every Monday in the community tab on the YouTube channel, I'm doing a little poll. Just just a fun little thing, asking. I can't remember even what the question is for this week, because I did a bunch ahead of time. Like asking about if you're visiting Costa Rica for the first time and that kind of thing. Yeah, so Monday out kayaking, and we ran into the dolphins, and Victor says he doesn't usually see dolphins. And we saw they were everywhere. They were jumping up around us. The coolest thing is they were going underneath our kayaks, like just below our kayaks, just about brushing our kayaks. And that was really cool. I didn't get that part of video, but I got a lot of good video of the dolphins just jumping right next to my kayak. And it's a funny thing too, if you've seen some of my videos about paddleboarding, when I go out paddleboarding by myself, I feel a little bit anxious about what's underneath. But when you're with a group of people, that's not as it's not as strong as a anxiety. When you're out with a bunch of people, you don't even think about anything like underneath you. But other than was a good thing, it was dolphins actually this time. Yeah, it was definitely unexpected, and it was definitely cool. And that video should be releasing next Tuesday. I should have it done by then. I'm also working on the horseback riding video I did. I'm not a super big horse person. I dated a girl once that had a horse. We used to ride sometimes, but I'm not real comfortable on horses yet. I'm going to do it more and then maybe get more comfortable. But it was interesting. I didn't realize how physical riding a horse can be, and I don't think my horse liked me. It just gave me that impression. He was always trying to yank the reins out of my hand. And he's probably thinking, why is this fat gringo sitting on me? But that's a tough job, being a horse in a warm climate like this, and taking people to the beach. I'm probably going to have to get a second glass of water. So out sea kayaking, I burned the top of my head because I didn't have a hat on, and I burned the tops of my thighs because when you're sitting in a kayak, your shorts go slide back. So I have a part of my leg that never is exposed to the sun. Exposed to the sun. I'm not sure if I was if I applied sunscreen properly up there or not. And the top. Buenos dias, Costa Rica Chronicles. In Costa Rica Chronicles is my friend Brooke, and she's the one. She does all the fun things first. She and Mike, she and Mike always do these fun adventures, and they're trying to get me to go. So they went ziplining before I did. They went horseback riding before I did, but they haven't done the sea kayak yet. So there's that. Yeah, I've heard of people snorkeling at the whale tail. I think it's kind of tricky there. I haven't seen the video, but I know that the currents have to be just right there because the Three Sisters. A lot of people snorkel there. Canals Island people. So my friend Victor does tours out snorkeling tours out to the islands. I'm going to be doing that because I joined the Uvita Kayak Club, which they do outings every Monday, and I'm probably going to miss next Monday because I need to recuperate this major sunburn that I got. But Victor does a different venture every time. He'll probably be doing mangrove tours too, I imagine. When I asked him, I go, "What about the crocodiles?" And he's like, "Oh, don't worry about them. They won't hurt you." Let's see how that goes. But yeah, I'm going to have to wait a while before I get back out into the ocean again. So if you have trouble with the audio, if you log in to YouTube and log out of YouTube, so Brooke, Mike, that's right, you did go on a mangrove tour on the kayak. Video from Monday, two of my wipeouts, because when you come back in, you do your best to ride a wave in, but it's not easy in a kayak. So with this Wave Rancheros, I'm going to be burning on the inside and the outside. I'll be burning on the outside for my sunburn, and I'll be burning on the inside from spicy. How's the audio for other people there? Can people hear the audio okay? You say you can add a sip. I've had one sip of my coffee, and that's it. The good thing is in Costa Rica, your coffee doesn't go cold nearly as fast as it does in the wintertime in upstate New York. You know, a lot of times with that audio, it's a matter of logging in and logging back out. If somebody's having problems, if they log out of YouTube and back in, that helps them out, because I know some people on different devices have more issues. I think my friend Don, if he watches on his he's got like internet television type thing, and that is usually never any problems. But he has problems with the phone sometimes, and it's a YouTube thing. It's just one of those weird things. Let's see if I turn the audio. I usually turn the audio way down on my iPad. I usually turn the audio way down. Yeah, I don't know. Well, at least we've got the view, right? Nobody really wants to hear me talk anyway, so having the view is the most important thing. I can do lives directly through my phone, and I need to experiment with that. I did do one. I don't like the vertical format for doing lives. I like the horizontal, as they call the landscape format. So it looks like the audio might have gone out, right? I don't have anybody watching. Buenos dias, Dennis. I don't know if anybody can hear me or not. I know the video is going through, but people were saying they couldn't hear the audio this morning. Are you getting any audio? Muy bien, muy bien. ¿Usted? Okay, we're doing better on the audio now. Thanks everybody for letting me know. On my end, I'm unaware, because I keep the volume down on the iPad, because there's like about a 3-second delay, and then that comes back in. I'm such a gringo. I'm here eating my huevo rancheros, and I had to pick all the hot peppers off. It's good. It's just so spicy. Swatting at a fly, I almost knocked my laptop off. That's good. I think hopefully we've got the audio restored. Yeah, I think you have to build up. I don't want to say build up resistance, but that's kind of what it is. I guess it's an acquired taste, but to me, it's building up the resistance. I've never been very adventurous in my food consumption, which I should be more. But since I've moved here, I definitely am more. My my menu is expanded. But I would never even think about eating anything like this back in the States. And I've got a lot of old videos of my life back in the States, and I look back at some of those, and I really am glad that I kept the diary. And when I started doing it, I was thinking about this point in my life when I wanted to look back at my life in the States, because I remember seeing other people on YouTube, my friend Sarah, for example, and how they were when they first moved to Costa Rica, or even when they lived in the States, just how different people look. You have a whole different, you look different physically, and there's a different look in your eyes, kind of a deal. But yeah, it's really interesting looking back. I was looking at some video that I didn't publish, just of me being stir crazy in the middle of the winter when I was working from home on my computer during COVID. I was, yeah, I was just being silly and crazy, and that's the only way you can keep saying back in those times. Those of us who have all survived the year 2020. The landscape format is just more natural for videos, but now with like Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts, they're trying to push this uh, vertical format, and it's because of people with their phones, and they're always shooting in vertical format, which to me isn't natural. But I guess it's just a different way of looking at videos. But you definitely have to think differently when you're shooting in vertical format. Buenos dias, Kim. You had a little cold snap there, didn't you? They snapped out of it, or you're snapping back into it. Got a little puppy here looking for scraps. I'm a little bit worried about Don Rogers the rooster. I haven't heard him. Maybe they had some at a chicken barbecue this past weekend. Yeah. Shouldn't say that for Don Rogers the rooster. Oh, it's Speed Week in Daytona. Wow, it is that time of year, isn't it? Yeah, Dennis, thanks for stopping by. And yeah, it's nice weather, but I really miss the clouds. I mean, it's the sun is intense. It really isn't. I'm I'm talking from the perspective of somebody that just got a really bad sunburn. So like the intense sun up today is intimidating to me. And usually I can walk. I put my sunscreen on, and I'm usually okay. I can walk along the beach and no problem. But when you're out in the middle of the ocean and maybe some of the sunscreen gets washed off by the waves, you can really get seriously bothered, which happened to me. Oh, we got a little puppy is fighting that. He's fighting an anthill. That's not a smart move, buddy. Well, it's kind of interesting that he would do that. There's a little pile of ants. There's a little pile of ants, and these ants, they bite really. I mean, they sting. One a sting from one of them was intense, and let's wrestling with him. He's like, "Yeah, I'll take you on." You got to be tough if you're a dog in Costa Rica. That's an anthill he's digging into. I think he just got nailed. Yeah, he's trying to rub it off. Poor guy. You don't mess with ants around here. I guess he's a puppy. He's still learning. I don't know. Maybe he likes getting bit by ants. Personally, I give the ants a wide berth. Well, how's the weather in Daytona? Buenos DSP, how are things? And then, where I live, I don't get to see the sunset from my house, but or the moonrise or sunset. When I look at the stars, I'm looking up through the trees. I was talking to a friend. I actually don't get to see the sunset very often, which I have to make a point of doing something about that because I went on like I explained about before went on a horse ride at sunset on Tuesday, and it was just so beautiful. The light is just so beautiful. And this time of year, I like really early in the morning is great, especially talking from the perspective of somebody with a bad sunburn. This morning it was so beautiful. It was a little cool, a little bit of a breeze, and that's how it is towards the evening. The middle of the day, this time of year, gets pretty intense. Hasta luego, Dennis. I saw they had an unexpected wave of turtles coming in at. I'm going to try to pronounce the name here. Onestential Wildlife Refuge in Guanacaste, where all the big turtles come in there in huge waves. It's almost like every month they get a big wave. Then the wave comes, then it's over. And then for February they got one they didn't expect. They thought they were done, and then this big wave came in. Yeah, the hang gliding sounds. I don't know if I would do that or not. It might be fun, but it's probably pretty expensive. That would be my biggest limiting factor. I know that there's a there's so many different things they do. There is hang gliding, and then there's paragliding, parasailing. It looks pretty fun, but I don't know. And those things with me, it's like I'm always nervous until you get to the point of no return, and then you're like, well, nothing I can do about it. I was like that with zip line. I didn't know if I wanted to do zip line or not. And when I did it, I was like, oh, this isn't bad. Yeah, I did. How was that? I've seen everybody that I've known who's visited. Has, we have turtles around here, but they don't come in like that. I don't think. Like at that Playa Tortuga, there's a lot of turtles there that come and go, but just the huge wave of turtles there is just breathtaking. But I know that it can be a little bit of a challenge getting in there, especially during the rainy season, because of that river crossing that you have to do. Did you find that river crossing a little bit tricky? Like this time of year, it probably wouldn't be too bad. But I saw videos of people trying to get in there when the water was way too high. And I mean, turn around, don't drown doesn't really apply in Costa Rica. We just kind of have to keep going. But this was an optional trip that this guy was trying to make across that river. Just really poor judgment, I think. I've mentioned this before, but it's a funny thing that happens when I do a live and there's like a radio or music playing in the background. I get flagged for copyright violation, which isn't a big deal other than the fact that you could never monetize the video and they reserve the right to put ads in your video. That the owner of the copyright reserves the right to put ads in your video. But I mean, even if it's just almost inaudible, they still make a fuss about it. It's kind of crazy. So you can see some of the little boats out there getting ready to pick up their clients to take them out whale watching or island hopping. And it was funny when we saw the dolphins on Monday. We were out on the kayaks and there was a bunch of tour boats coming by, and I think that may be part of the reason why we ended up with the dolphins, because the dolphins sometimes follow the tour boats. So if this is your first time tuning into the live, make sure you check out the video of Restaurant Don Roger in the description below. If you click on more in the description, it opens up, and I've got a lot of links to a lot of different relevant topics there. I've got my last couple of videos. The last video I did was at Kitch's Barbershop, and a big huge shout out to Kitch
they did me so much good sharing. So he shared the heck out of it. So that was good. I got picked up a lot of subscribers from Kitch. And I got a lot of good views on that video. So I appreciate the sharing. I'd love to shine a spotlight on local businesses that do quality work and give them more business here, Don Roger. What a beautiful view of the whale tail. So if you're in Uvita, you need to get up here because it's not hard to get here. It's just a little hill, and you park and you sit here and you look at the whale tail. You see, so there's the low tide today was at 4:12 a.m. Tide is at 10:29 a.m. So the tide is coming in, and low tide again is at 4:28 p.m. Well, all right, have fun, Kim. I'm wrestling with my monitoring of the feed here. Yeah. Keep the sunscreen on. I know Daytona gets pretty sunny too. Kim is down visiting Daytona for Speed Week. It's always a fun time of year, but spring is almost there back in the States, around the corner. That's what we always used to tell ourselves. As from mid-February on, we'd always say, spring is just around the corner. It's a little difficult getting used to the different seasons here. It's my second cycle through. It'll be 2 years for me, April 21st, living. I think I'm gonna get somebody that really knows. I know a few people that are really good cooks here, and do some Costa Rican food videos. My only cooking episode was the smoothie that I make, and if you haven't seen that video, you check that out because that's really a really good smoothie. And I make this smoothie with mangoes and I always blank on the name. It, so I make my smoothies with mangoes and pawpaws. What's the other name for pawpaws? What's the other name for pawpaws? I can't believe I do this. I have these mental blocks for certain words. Papaya, mango, papaya, pineapple, apple, a lot of coconut water, and then and some ginger and the papaya seeds too, and some pumpkin seeds. I mix all that up and I make a nice little drink that it's in liquid form and I pour in containers and put it in the freezer, and I cut it up into little blocks, little ice cube size blocks, and I make smoothies with that in my Ninja blender, and they're just like, it's like a slushy. So I put the blocks of the ice cube blocks of my mixture in my Ninja, and then I pour a little bit of coconut milk into that to help it mix it a little bit, and it's really, really super good. Drink it with a metal straw. I know I'm sure it's high in sugar and all that, but it's better than the kind of sugar that I used to drink. It's better than drinking a big glass of Pepsi or something. Papaya. Gracias. I wasn't paying attention. You had the answer for me right there. I haven't made the green smoothie yet. I need to ask you a few questions about some of that stuff. I'm a little bit paranoid about like spinach and things like that having stuff on them, parasites maybe. But I think you rinse that in salt water. What do you do with that, or do you worry about it? I really shouldn't worry about it because if you eat anything, you're gonna get stuff inside you. So. But yeah, the green smoothie would probably be a lot better for me. And it would be easy to convert my pre-made ice cubes into the green smoothie and make it more of a healthy thing. Because really, when you think about a green regular fruit smoothies is dessert. You're eating dessert, even though it's healthier. It's still dessert. Throw some of that green stuff in there, and a little bit less appetizing, but a lot better for you. Yeah, they talk about that it's one of those things that gets talked about on YouTube about the seeds in the papaya. And there's all, say there's a trace of this or trace of that. It's an accepted way of helping combat parasites and things. But the arsenic level is not anything that you even need to be worried about. But I'm not a doctor, so don't. It's nothing I worry about. I don't tell other people what they should be worried about. But the papaya seeds are something that a lot of people consume on a regular basis to make a less habitable place in your gut for parasites. And it's not due to the arsenic, it's due to some of the other qualities in it. But that's the internet for you. You get a little bit of, words like arsenic. And oh, well. But a lot of things have trace amounts of bad stuff in them. But then again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm just a guy that makes a smoothie with all I can find here. I try to do it as cheap as possible too. And that was such a huge thing. Pete, who's on the live, I'm not sure if he's still on the live, but Pete's lived here in Costa Rica for 18 years, and I was talking about how expensive oranges were here. Because I think Costa Rica Chronicles, I think you paid like $3 for an orange in time, or is it 2 or 3? No, mil, 2 or 3 mil. But you can get the thing is, you don't buy the things that are green. Some of them have a little bit of orange in them, but you can get like a whole bag for 500 mil of the local grown Costa Rican oranges, and I love them. They're better. I like to eat them better than the regular oranges. They're easier to peel, and usually they're smaller. So yeah, that was a good help from Pete. He chimed in a video saying, yeah, that oranges are really not that expensive in Costa Rica unless you buy the imported from Spain or from the States or wherever they import them from. Yeah, that's a lot of money, and sometimes you don't even realize it. Like sometimes I'll go buy a bunch of fruit, it'll be cheap, and then other times I'll go and it'll be more expensive. And then I'll say, oh, that's because I bought this one thing. Mangoes are on the expensive side. You wouldn't think that they would be, but mangoes aren't cheap. Bananas are cheap, and oranges are cheap, and pineapples are pretty cheap. And they got 3 pineapples for a mill at the New Maxi Pally today, or this week. I haven't been there today. Yeah, Costa Rican oranges. Yeah, yeah, I do appreciate that. Muchas gracias, amigo. Yeah, you go broke pretty fast eating that kind of fruit. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. This fruit smoothie. Add that, add those healthy ingredients, and I mean, the fruit smoothies are so good that they can handle a little bit of excess stuff in there, like the pumpkin seeds that I put in there. I'm sure that they wouldn't taste great on their own. For parasites, and I actually did. In December, I had a little about with the parasites, and I actually started doing a video about it, and I had I had like a day or half a day of editing into this video. Then I'm like, no, that this is a little bit too much sharing. I don't want to be known as the guy with the with the stomach bug. But yeah, I went to the doctor and got tested, and there was some uh, I had some kind of parasite, but they gave me 2 pills. I only had to take one of them, and it took a while for it to help. It took it took probably almost close to 2 weeks for it to get better. And it's just that's a nuisance because you can't go anywhere. And it was right during Christmas, and there was so much I wanted to do. There was so many festivities around here I missed out on because of that. But that's the reason I started with the shake. I did some research on things that would naturally help you rid yourself of that. But like I was saying before, I think especially in a tropical climate, you're just going to have that kind of thing in your system. And I think it's just a matter of how your body can deal with it because there's so many different kinds of things. And I'm not talking just parasites, but just different things that can live in there. But I think with the smoothies, what it does is it helps create a better environment for your stomach. It gives you a healthier digestive tract, which makes it better for you if you do get a parasite or something. And let's face it, the way I eat, I don't eat very healthy, and that doesn't help you with the parasite situation. So I need to learn to eat healthier, and I'd like to learn to eat fish. But then, if you eat fish, if it's not cooked, you have a whole different kind of parasite to deal with. Yeah, what's the funny thing about the organic food? Because my best friend here is Danier, and he has a coffee plantation, and he is meticulous about how he takes care of his coffee plants and how he does the process. He just works so hard at doing everything best possible way. And with coffee, there's certain things that you need to use. You need to use a fungicide, and there is an organic fungicide that they use, but it's like really super duper expensive, and it would make it impossible to sell coffee at a price that people could afford. But he's very conscientious about how he applies the fungicide, and I mean, I drink his coffee, and it's, to me, that's the only coffee I would drink if I had the choice ever. But I'm with him at farmers market, and sometimes I'll be, he's got a table where he sells his coffee at farmers market, and I'll be standing next to him, and somebody will come up that's, and I'm not dissing organic people. I know that a lot of people are trying to eat healthy, so they go organic. But there's people that won't buy his coffee because his coffee's not organic, and they're probably buying coffee from somebody that's claiming it's organic, and it probably isn't. I think that the people that claim that organic sometimes are, it's really a marketing ploy in certain ways. I'm not saying all the time, but I'm saying for some people it's just a way they can try to get a leg up on other people, and not everybody is really honest about it. I don't think. That's just my opinion, but I'm saying that because my best friend's got a coffee plantation, and I've listened to him talk about it, and that's where I've got my point of view. Cafe Don Emilio, the official coffee of Costa Rica Story. And we are going to be doing a video about his coffee tours. He does coffee tours up. He's just maybe 25 minutes up the hill in San Josecito from Uvita. And he's got a really popular coffee tour. Everybody loves it up there. And just being up there on his plantation is so, to me, people talk about what's the real Costa Rica, and everybody's got a different answer to that. But for me, being up there, it just seems my vision of what the real Costa Rica is. It's peaceful and it's quiet. Even though there's a detour that's driving more traffic through there lately, it's still peaceful up there. So if you're just tuning in and you haven't hit the like button, and if you're enjoying the view here, just give me a like there. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm, which is every YouTuber's enemy. At least it is for me. Everybody complains that YouTube doesn't like them, and I struggle. I see other people with YouTube channels and their videos get a ton of views, and mine don't necessarily get that many views, but I think I can have a better audience. I think my audience is, I don't know, I just relate to the people that watch the channel because I meet so many people from that watch the channel. I'll be at the farmer's market, I'll be at the supermarket. It happens to me on my bike more often than you'd think. I'd run into somebody and they look at me like they recognize me, and I don't necessarily recognize them. Then the conversation starts. They've seen some of my videos, so that's always a fun moment for me when that happens. But Uvita is such a small town. You get to know people fast here, even if you don't speak Spanish. But speaking Spanish definitely helps. And if you don't speak Spanish, if you try to speak Spanish, that helps. Because that shows them you're not a gringo that thinks everybody should speak English all the time. And there's a lot of those that come this time of year. But my Spanish is horrible, and it's laughable, really. And everybody has a lot of patience for me here. Not everybody, most people, I should say. I don't like to get into that generalization thing. It's one of my things. I don't like generalizations like that. But I digress. Well, about time you got up there, Senior Don. Have you had your first cup of coffee yet, Don? Yeah, James, if you come to Uvita, the best coffee tour anywhere is at Daener's Coffee Plantation Cafe Don Emilio. And if you do come to Uvita, you can go to the El Mercado Bahia Vagina, which is on Wednesday and Saturday. And Daener is there. He's a great person to know because he knows so many different people. He knows people from all over the world, but he's just such a fun guy to talk to. It's like, when you're talking to somebody and then the conversation ends and you go home, you're like, oh, you smile, oh, that was a good conversation with that guy. And there's a lot of people like that here that I've met in Costa Rica, so that's a good thing. Well, I try to get up before the Mono Congos because the Mono Congos like me to bring a cup of coffee out to them in the morning before they get going. Sometimes it feels like that. The howler monkeys and I are almost on the same exact schedule. I wish I could teach them to drink coffee. That would be interesting to sit at a picnic table and have coffee with the Mono Congos. But it's so funny because I was probably here. Well, I saw my first Mono Congos when my friend Augustina brought me to the beach on my first full day here. I saw my first monkeys, and I still remember that. Of course, I videotaped that, but that was such a huge moment for me. But then I didn't see monkeys probably for a month after that, and then I started seeing them again, and then I was always blown away when I first heard them up in the trees, and now it's just part of my daily routine. Seems like they're there every morning almost. And not everybody likes likes the howler monkeys. I have a friend, a Tika friend, and she's afraid of howler monkeys, but she lives in the city, so she's not really used to being out in the jungle or bosque. Like I like to call where I live the jungle, but other people say, "Oh no, it's a bosque. It's not a jungle. It's more of a forest." I mean, I've got tropical plants there, and there's jungle life in there. I'm going to continue to call it a jungle. Yeah, the sounds of Costa Rica are so helpful to me as far as getting my day going. It's more important than a clock. Like in the morning, I'm waking up. I look out the window to see if it's light yet, but I really don't need to do that. I can hear the chili coca this time of year. They'll be up before the Mono Congo sometimes, but I'll hear the Mono Congo usually around 5, sometimes before, sometimes after, and then the geckos start chirping. And then later in the day, around 8 o'clock, the cicadas start up. And then towards the end of the day, there's a certain sounds when it's starting to get dark. I'll be working on a computer, not paying attention to if it's light out or not. I'll hear like a certain bird going, or the geckos. The geckos right at sunset, they start announcing. But it's interesting. But then we've got roosters that go just about any time of the day or night. But I'm a very early morning person. It doesn't bother me to wake up before 5 this morning. I probably woke up a little bit before 5 a.m. But when I go to sleep, it'll be like sometimes it'll be 9 o'clock, and I'll put my head down to rest for a second. Then the next thing I know, I'm asleep and might wake up at 2:30 in the morning and then not get back to sleep. Got a little hummingbird buzzing back and forth. A lot of hummingbirds and butterflies here. So when you're done, have you been to the new Maxi Pally here in Uvita? I'm not overly impressed with it at all. My take on it was that I went and bought the same stuff and paid about the same price, but I had to wait in line a lot longer. But the one good thing I will say about it is it's a great place to go on a hot day because the place is air conditioned, and you don't get a lot of that here in Uvita. There's a few places that have air conditioning. I think the place that sells glasses has air conditioning, and one of the technical stores has air conditioning. But yeah, go to Maxi Pally, you can walk around and cool off. But it did kind of ruin the ambiance of that whole corner there. I was talking to a friend. I was like, yeah, it's weird that we have Maxi Pally as a landmark when you're giving somebody driving directions. You hang a right at Maxi Pally, and that'll take you down to the beach. So if you're just tuning in, I've got links to a lot of stuff, a lot of pertinent information down in the description below. Down below the video in the description when you go show more. Got links to a video of Don Roger restaurant with the epic drone footage and things. I've got my latest video of me getting my haircut. Can you say I've got a sunburn? I've never had a sunburned scalp before, and I'll tell you, it's not a pleasant experience. So it's a hat for me for a while. I've got a link to my Costa Rica Immersion experience, which is an interesting thing you might want to read about, my business here in Costa Rica. And I've got links to some playlists, some links. If you have a business in Costa Rica and you want to partner with Costa Rica Story on some promotional type things that has to do with my other business, that would be a cool thing. So if you know somebody with a business here, or you have a business yourself, check that out in the links. There's a ton of stuff in the links. Also, the video I did last week, I did a time lapse, and it's vertical format because I did a YouTube short, and it shows the sun setting, or that shows the moon actually setting down over the ocean. But it's a really small speck out there. But you can see it's a time lapse I was doing here. I can't wait for the rainy season. I'm going to do some more time lapses when the clouds are more interesting. All right, I think that's all I've covered. But make sure you check the description because I got a lot of the stuff that I forget to say. I had stuff written down. On cards because the importance of sunscreen. That was one of my big things today. My next video, I'm going to be talking about that. I preach it all the time, and I usually do put the sunscreen on, and I did put the sunscreen on, but it's a complicated thing because sometimes you have to reapply it, and you have to reapply conscientiously. All right, well, if you haven't hit the like button, I'd appreciate the like. And that's all I've got for this episode of Costa Rica Story Live. Thank you for your patronage and hanging out with me and having breakfast. It was so great to be able to share my week I had because, I said before, I was like a little kid who had a great day at school and just couldn't wait to share it. I did Monday. I did the what did I do? I swear to God,
getting the sun on my brain. Monday, I ran into a couple people that I knew when I was shopping, and I kind of was in a daze, and I didn't even talk to them because I was so out of it. But Monday, I went sea kayaking and saw dolphins. Tuesday, I went horseback riding at sunset. Yesterday, my friend Lisa came. We came around and hung out here in town, which was fun. And today the live, I was just real happy to share this stuff, and I'm blathering on, so I'm going to end this. But make sure you check out the description for some of my cool, fun stuff. Thanks for liking, thanks for subscribing, and thanks for having breakfast with me. It was a good one. It's going to be a great rest of the week. Hope everybody has a good one and good, safe one. And hasta luego.